Did you know these iconic films were actually based on books? Yep. Some of Hollywood's biggest blockbusters and cult classics started on the page, and you probably had no idea. Let's dive into 5 popular movies you didn't know were based on books. Number 5. Clueless, 1995. Clueless is peak 90s teen comedy, fashion, slang, Beverly Hills drama, and enough quotable lines to last a lifetime. But did you know that under all that lip gloss and plaid, this movie is actually a modern-day retelling of a Jane Austen novel? Yep, Clueless is based on Austen's 1815 classic Emma. Let's break it down. Cher Horowitz, played by Alicia Silverstone, Nichar Emma Woodhouse, the charming, rich, well-meaning matchmaker who thinks she knows what's best for everyone else. Josh, Paul Rudd equals Mr. Knightley, the mature, grounded guy who's always challenging her. Ty, Brittany Murphy, Robert, Harriet Smith, the awkward newcomer that Cher Emma tries to mold into her next project. And of course, all the matchmaking misfires, romantic misunderstandings, and personal growth, straight from Austen's playbook. Writer-director Amy Heckerling, who also directed Fast Times at Ridgemont High, had the genius idea to take this 19th century story and drop it into the pastel-colored, cell phone-wielding world of 90s Beverly Hills teens. And somehow, it works perfectly. But what makes Clueless so iconic is that it doesn't just modernize Emma, it totally reinvents it. It speaks to a whole new generation while keeping the core themes: identity, self-discovery, and realizing that sometimes you don't know as much as you think you do. And let's be honest, Cher's rotating closet system? Still goals. Fun fact, the movie was such a hit, it inspired a TV show, books, and even a stage musical. And it's still one of the most referenced teen films ever made. Clueless wasn't just a comedy, it was a cultural reset. So next time you watch Cher say, "I totally paused," just remember you're watching Jane Austen in a miniskirt and knee-high socks. Number 4. The Social Network, 2010. The Social Network isn't just a great movie, it's a sharply written drama about ego, ambition, betrayal, and the birth of one of the most powerful platforms in the world. But did you know this entire movie is based on a book? Yep, it's adapted from Ben Mesrich's 2009 nonfiction book, The Accidental Billionaires. Here's the kicker. Mesrich's book was written with input from Eduardo Saverin, Zuckerberg's former best friend and co-founder of Facebook, who was later cut out of the company. So, yeah, the tea is real. The book dramatizes the rise of Facebook, the Harvard elite culture, and the messy legal battles that followed. While Aaron Sorkin's Oscar-winning screenplay added extra flair and fast-paced dialogue, most of the movie's core events are based on real-life interviews and legal transcripts. Also, did you know Mark Zuckerberg refused to be involved with the book or the movie? He later said the film got a lot of things wrong, except for the part about him wearing flip-flops and hoodies to meetings. That part was totally accurate. Whether you see it as a tech origin story or a cautionary tale about power and friendship, The Social Network is one of the most compelling book-to-film adaptations of the 2000s and 10s. Number 3, Mean Girls, 2004. Mean Girls might be one of the most iconic teen comedies of all time. But did you know it was actually inspired by a nonfiction parenting book? Yep, the movie is based on Rosalind Wiseman's 2002 self-help guide called Queen Bees and Wannabes. It's a book that helps parents understand the complex world of teenage girls, covering everything from cliques and bullying to social hierarchies and peer pressure. Enter Tina Fey. She read the book and saw comedy gold. She took the serious material and spun it into a sharp, hilarious, and brutally honest high school satire that became an instant classic. Fey even inserted herself into the story, literally by playing Ms. Norbury, the awkward but wise math teacher who tries to get the girls to stop tearing each other down. While the book doesn't have characters or a traditional storyline, its themes were the blueprint for what became Katie Heron, played by Lindsay Lohan, Regina George, Rachel McAdams, Gretchen Wieners, Lacey Chabert, and Karen Smith, Amanda Seyfried. So every time Regina says, "Get in, loser, we're going shopping," just remember, this movie started out as a guidebook for moms dealing with teenage drama, and now it's quoted daily, turned into a Broadway musical, and even got a reboot. Talk about a glow-up. Number 2, Die Hard, 1988. So, Die Hard, the movie that basically redefined the action genre and made Bruce Willis a legend. explosions, one-liners, and bare feet. It's the blueprint for every lone hero in a tight space movie that came after. But get this, Die Hard was actually based on a book, a gritty crime novel called Nothing Lasts Forever by Roderick Thorpe, published in 1979. Even crazier, it was a sequel to another book called The Detective, which was also made into a movie back in 1968 starring, wait for it, Frank Sinatra. That's right, technically Die Hard is part of a Sinatra cinematic universe. And because of a clause in the original contract, 20th Century Fox was legally obligated to offer the role of John McClane to Frank Sinatra first. He was 73 at the time, and thankfully, he passed. In Nothing Lasts Forever, the main character isn't John McClane, but Joe Leland, an aging ex-cop visiting his daughter at her office building when it's taken over by terrorists. The plot is darker, grittier, and a lot more cynical. There's even a helicopter crash and more emotional trauma. Hollywood adapted it into something a little more fun and blockbuster-friendly, gave it Christmas vibes, and cast Bruce Willis, then known mostly for comedy, into action movie history. So, yeah, Die Hard is based on a book, and it's one of the most unlikely and successful book-to-movie glow-ups ever. Number 1, Forrest Gump, 1994. Forrest Gump is one of those rare movies that has everything: heart, humor, history, and a soundtrack that slaps. It won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor for Tom Hanks, and Best Director for Robert Zemeckis. But did you know this emotional roller coaster of a film is actually based on a novel? The original book, also called Forrest Gump, was written by Winston Groom in 1986, 8 years before the movie hit theaters. Now here's the twist, the book is way different. In the novel, Forrest is still a lovable, simple Southern guy with a knack for being in the right place at the right time. But his adventures are even more outlandish. He becomes a chess champion, an astronaut, a professional wrestler, and even hangs out with an orangutan named Sue. No, seriously, the book's version of Forrest is also rougher around the edges. He swears, he's a bit more cynical, and the tone is darker and more satirical than the sweet, sentimental vibe of the movie. When the filmmakers adapted the story, they toned it down and leaned into Forrest's innocence, making him more wide-eyed and endearing. Tom Hanks brought so much warmth and humanity to the role that the character became iconic in his own right. So much so that many people don't even realize there's a book. Also, fun fact, the famous line, "Life is like a box of chocolates," not in the book. That gem was created for the film and became one of the most quoted movie lines of all time. So, while the Forrest Gump movie gave us that unforgettable feather, Jenny, Bubba Gump Shrimp, and endless quotables, just know, there's a wilder, weirder version of Forrest out there in the pages of Winston Groom's original novel. So, how many of those did you already know? Be honest. Drop a comment with which one surprised you the most. And if you want a part 2, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another movie secret. Books and blockbusters go together more than you think. Until next time, bye-bye.